Welcome, one, welcome all, welcome to the show. My name is Stuart Davis, a flawed man of God, a humble parishioner at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor, I'm not a biblical scholar, and I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, all three of them, the Trinity, not leaving anyone out. Talk about the Bible, talk about Christianity, talk about a wide variety of different topics, issues, and current events, and give you my perspective on them, one that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. I've been a Christian all my life, 41 years, non-denominational Protestant. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination, just in the Word daily, trying to do it better each and every day. Sometimes I'll get it right, many times I'll get it wrong, but no matter what, if you're listening to this show, if you're hearing my words on this stream, you're going to be getting my honest takes on whatever it is we're talking about. So if that's what you're looking for, open, frank, honest conversation about faith. Maybe you are new to Christianity or you are just exploring it because you're missing meaning. You feel like something in your life is not there. Maybe there's a small voice in the back of your mind wondering if there's more to your existence than just your life here on earth. Welcome to the show. Hopefully you will come away from listening to this show with a feeling that you got an honest, open, frank conversation about what faith is like from somebody who isn't a social media influencer, somebody who isn't famous, not full of sound bites, or even somebody that you might view has got a conflict of interest listening to a pastor. They don't, but I can understand the worry there. They get paid to do it. Their job is to have a flock and shepherd it, right? So of course they're going to tell you everything that you want to hear. But a good pastor probably is telling you things that you don't want to hear. But if you need to hear it from a guy sitting in the pew next to you who could say, "Hey, I've been doing this thing for a little bit. I'm your guy." And we got folks up here in the chat who can be that guy for you or gal for you as well. Take that how you will, and hopefully it'll set you on a path to salvation. Maybe it'll set you up to strengthen your faith or find it where you haven't really ever had it before. If you are already a Christian and you just enjoy Christian topics and discussions, welcome as well. You'll find this is very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school. It's very casual. It's very informal. It's about the small group community because we're not a big channel here, but we are a close, tight-knit channel here. And we'd love to encourage you to be part of that. Whether you are beginnings of wondering about faith, or you've been a Christian longer than me, you know more about the faith than me, you are more mature in your faith than I am. Anywhere in between. Get in the chat. Got a great group of folks who tune in and night out and contribute to the show with their valuable and very much appreciated thoughts and opinions, questions, and smart remarks to the host. That's me. It's a grand old time. It's a grand old time, and I hope you like it here, and I hope you'll find it good enough that you'll click that like button, you'll subscribe, and you'll click the notification bell so you can know when I'm streaming in the future. But generally, 8:35 Eastern time, Monday through Thursday. Let's get on with the show. Speaking of schedules, church softball is coming up. That means my schedule changes a little bit. It's probably going to be Monday nights. I was running the team for my last church. I have been relieved of my duties, but going to start. Me and one of the other guys are going to start our own, maybe flawed men, our flawed men's softball team. Flawed Men of God softball team for the church for folks who are not at a church or not members of a church or at a church that's too small to have their own team, churches that are out of the area, that kind of thing. And we'll start one. The church that I'm going to is fielding 5 teams. And I'm not a member there, so it's and I miss my crew. I miss my guys, I miss my team. I spent the better part of 10 years building that team up once I started running the show for men's softball for the church. We didn't have enough guys at the church, so I did a lot of outreach to find folks that didn't go to church but were faithful, kind of get them into the church, give them a sense of Christian fellowship, and such, and stuff like that. Hopefully they will continue, but and I was fine with running it still, but I was asked not to. But we're looking at probably Monday nights. So it'll be a Tuesday to Thursday show for the better part of the spring and into the early summer. And then whatever days I'm going to be doing work stuff and either too tired or too out of pocket to stream. You guys stick with me though. Y'all hang in there with me. I do this. This happens every summer. There's a lot of time away from the camera, but once things start to cool down, I stream as regularly as possible. I still do. I just have less possible. So here's the chat. Thad Demand is first, but before he was first, he was nya 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 nya. Or if you're a My Chemical Romance fan, na 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 na. Yes, I have listened to them in the past. Oddly enough, one of my favorite albums is actually The Black Parade. It was when I got back from Iraq. I don't know if I've told many of you guys this story. Me and my brother uh, have the same job on different helicopters and different branches of the military. I was in the Army. He was in the Marine Corps. I was on Blackhawks. He was on Sea Knights or Frogs. For those of you who might have been in the Marine Corps and remember those banana boat helicopters. Um, and we were actually stationed at the same place at the same time. He went 3 months ahead of me, which was weird for me, being the older brother. I felt a little bit more protective of him. I might get into this relationship with him that I have and how it went from very terrible to very great um, in another episode. But we were at the same base, same time. It was just basically a berm in between two taxiways on the flight line away from each other. Um, but because Marine Corps does 6-month tours and we do year-long tours, he cycled back long before I did. Um, and so when I got home, he was kind of helping me acclimate and everything, and we were spending a lot of time together because we'd missed each other. There'd been a lot of worry between both of us, making up for lost time, and that was one of the things we have very similar tastes in things. He got me started watching Scrubs, got me started watching Psych, got me started watching Justified, though I knew I was going to like Justified ahead of time. And then so it was, but this is just one of the long list of things that he got me into. He goes, "Oh, this is a great album, you should check it out." We were just at Best Buy, just hanging out, bought that album. Same time, me and my soon to be wife or eventual wife were talking on the phone and decided to officially be dating. The same as I was walking out of Best Buy, talking to him, talking to her on the phone, and yeah, it was. So it's got a lot of memories. It's a good song that we'll jam out to. So that was just the first comment. Dresden is here. Thad the man says, Allie Beth Stuckey has so lost me. Interested to hear what she has lost you on. I don't follow her so much. I see her sometimes on social media. And oftentimes I enjoy what she has to say. She is a little outspoken, and sometimes I think she gets ahead of herself. She lets her mouth run maybe a little bit faster than her brain, but for the most part, when she says something, I'm like, yeah, we're on similar wavelengths and understandings. But I don't know. I haven't seen anything from her in a long time, and I have been off social media for over a week now, or a week now. It seems like it's been so long. Fasting is tough, guys. I'm just not used to it. Sure, it's not all four. I'm definitely sure it's 3 in the Trinity. Dad, don't go making this weird. Porcupine Mayhem is here. Long time no see, buddy. Long time no see. I have missed you a great deal, and I'm glad to see you in the chat tonight. Glad to see you. Jenny ELJ also in the chat. It's good to see you all anytime. We need the feminine touch in the chat. We just do. Just a little bit, right? It doesn't have to be over, we don't have to have it doesn't have to be 50-50, but whatever. It doesn't have to. I'm not saying we need, but we have. It's been mostly dudes, overwhelmingly dudes in this chat. Jenny comes in. There we go. Everybody knows tone it. Calm yourself. There's a lady present. So you got to deal with it enough being in SoCal with the craziness. Lucy Evening Star. What's going on, sir? Just started on writing my own book, short story. Wish me luck. Definitely share that with me. Definitely share that with me when you're finished, or the group. Share with the group. You or your children? Softball for me, I think, if that's what you were asking. Jenny says, "Lots of luck from across the miles, Lucy." Yes. I mean, I don't know how many people are out there that it might, but I am one of them who's like, "Man, I've got kind of a story. I'd love to write a novel," right? But, I mean, when you really try to go through the effort of fleshing it all out, you can be like, my first chapter is 3 pages." Need a little bit need it to be a little bit more involved than that. Thad the man said, "What's it on?" Porcupine Man was, Thanks for being here, Stuart, and everybody else. Thank you for being here, Porcupine. I think I said that earlier. Lucy said it's called An Interview with the Devil, a bit self-explanatory of what's it about. So as long as it's not weird like Interview with a Vampire. Was that a book? Was that a book first? I never read the book. I saw the movie. The movie's just weird. The movie's just really weird. Steve Hawley said, "I thought that's why you hosted this, lol." Why? I don't know why I do a lot of things, Steve. You were not here last night. I was talking to I screwed Steve. I screwed up the whole screwed up the whole intro to my stream, and I had this poured, and I hadn't drank it yet, but some Whistle Pig whiskey to put in that. Um, it's not a decanter, but it's just like, I guess, a place to put whiskey bottle. That your brother had given me for Christmas. And then I had to not drink it because I was worried everybody would think I was getting drunk on stream and I'd started by pre-gaming, taking it a little bit too far. Texan Italian, welcome to the show, sir. Lucy said, "I should be writing the book as if it were 7 days long interview with the Prince of Darkness." Ooh, sounds dark. Porcupine, not to make it about me, we need prayer. My wife and I got news that our fourth kiddo oh, congratulations, might have Downs. It's early and more testing to come, but the anxiety is high. Okay. First off, of course, prayers. I know, especially from my last experience with our third, it can be difficult. It can be scary, even when the other two have gone very well. But we have a family that we're kind of close to, that my wife knew when she was a kid growing up. And the father had Down syndrome in in his family. His brother had it, and their second kid has it, and they have a blast with him. And he's actually got an extra layer of issue because he had a heart condition. They came out, I think they knew in utero that he had a heart condition, and had to do surgery on him as an infant, as a newborn, I think. All with it was just a crazy like first year with him. But he is, gosh, 5 years old now. But you know, whether or not he's got Downs or not, if he does, or he or she does, um, there's some there seems to be a lot of anxiety about it. But I think one of the good things that Shane Gillis has done with his stand up is try to remove some of the stigma behind it. Yes, there are challenges with them. Yes, there are health issues, but at the same time, like he says, they're the happiest people you ever meet. they, and I mean, I don't have too much exposure with them, but very much, very much the same impression I've gotten as well. One of the things, my first job was working for my dad. It's basically doing mailings, putting stamps, putting address labels. If you got like a J.C. Penney catalog or a Sears catalog, it came through this building and it basically was processed for all the mail. And it was for all sorts of different catalogs, mostly catalogs and other types of mailings. But they would send it to us, and we did it all in bulk and shipped it out to whoever. My dad took that opportunity to hire a handful of special needs folks, and a couple of them had Down syndrome. And again, focused on the work for the most part. He never had any problems with them really, and they seemed very happy. So, man, they're good people. They're God's children. And I know that you got. I know that if that's the case, you guys will be definitely a great home where they will receive a lot of love and appreciation for who they are. So, but prayers with you just for a healthy pregnancy all around. Right? The less stressful it is, the better. Better for the mama. But congratulations on your fourth to be. That said, I was doing something listening to a guy on Twitter talk about his daughter. He was married, got divorced, but lived within walking distance, paid his ex millions. Not a righteous man, but seemed a decent guy. She tweeted how he was a horrible person. Ooh. Lucy said, I'm planning on him or it to come to the interview in multiple different forms. From a well-spoken and good-looking guy to a good-looking woman to a rich old man to a poor beggar. I'm 2 chapters in. Keep it up. What would be funny if you have him come in like Dennis Reynolds and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in that one interview, couple of interviews. Dennis Reynolds' character development in It's Always Sunny is hilarious. Screw Tape Letters and also the Notorious movie. Let the man write his book. Downs just means more to love. Porcupine Man to John Cena and boobs. Also, the TV show Lucifer, you may not like some of it, but I think his flaws are closer to the real Lucifer than most depictions. I haven't watched it. I have no desire for the obvious reasons, but hopefully pride is a huge issue for him in that show. Bruce read the comic. He goes, "Don't tell me about the TV show if you haven't read the manga. Don't tell me about the anime until you've read the manga." Steve said, "Sorry, last night I fell asleep at like 8. Oh, I have those. Usually feel better afterwards." So, all right, y'all. Let's get into it. By the way, just remember, hell's not supposed to be a place that Lucifer enjoys. He doesn't pervert people just because it gives him pleasure, but because it hurts God. Wherever he does it, he ain't good. All right. Tonight, this might be a short stream. I say that. Usually, when I say it's going to be a short stream, it ends up being longer. We kind of stretched out this beginning part, but part of it's because real issues like expecting parents with some worries. Pray for them. Man just trying to write a book. Something difficult. Something difficult. It's hard for folks to do. Hard to get published. We got some things to talk about. But what we're going to talk about now is Psalm 87, a very short 7-verse psalm from the sons of Korah. Learned a little bit more about the sons of Korah last night. We all learned that we don't know if it's the same sons of Korah in each of these psalms or if it's different sons of Korah. But we know that they are sons of Korah after the head of their family was swallowed up in the Exodus after rebelling against God and Moses. And examples were made. Mistakes were made, then examples were made. So let's get into tonight's The Glories of the City of God. No wonder it's so short. You ever been to a city before? Just kidding. The Glories of the City of God, a psalm of the sons of Korah, a song. His foundation is in the holy mountains. The Lord loves the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. Glorious things are spoken of you, O city of God. Selah. I will make mention of Rahab and Babylon to those who know me. Behold, O Philistia, and Tyre with Ethiopia. This one was born here. Behold, O Philistia, and Tyre with Ethiopia. This one was born there. And of Zion it would be said, this one and that one were born in her, and the Most High himself shall establish her. The Lord will record when he registers the peoples. This one was born there. Selah. Both the sing. Sorry, I thought one of my phones was ringing. Both the singers and the prayers on instrument, both the singers and the players on instruments say, all my springs are in you. This is a little hard to follow for me. So, City of God, we're thinking Zion. We're thinking, thinking Zion. We're thinking Jerusalem. Psalm 87. See if God Answers has got anything. Because usually the papists do a pretty good job. Psalm 87 is a prophetic vision of Jerusalem where individuals from historically adversarial groups, when we talk about Tyre, the Philistines, Ethiopia, to Israel, are envisioned as being metaphorically born in Zion. It is a beautiful picture of community and a glimpse of what God would do through his son for those not born of Jewish heritage. Okay. That's a good. I was wondering about that towards the end. If this is okay, feels like it's got some prophecy vibes to it. Feels like we're talking about Jesus coming. Glimpse of what God would do through his son for those not born of Jewish heritage to find one day in worship before his throne. The Church of Christ is more glorious and excellent than the nations of the earth, and the holiness is the strength and firmness of the church. Psalm 87 describes the Lord's love for Jerusalem and exalts it as the religious center of the world in the coming messianic kingdom. It is a sacred song or poem, of course it is. So very quick and to the point. So let's dig into this again. His foundation is in the holy mountains. The Lord loves the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. Glorious things are spoken of you, O city of God. Pretty to the point. Very to the point. Foundation's firm. God loves it. We know this not just from this psalm where it says it, but also throughout, right? This is where David set up shop. This is where the Lord's temple was built by Solomon. It has significance. It is part of the promised land. It's a part of the promised land that began with a covenant made between God and Abraham. Then at the time, Abram, or maybe he made the covenant right before or right after naming him Abraham, I think. Doesn't matter. So we're establishing things that we kind of already know at this point as a reader, having gone through. Yeah, of course, Jerusalem's important. God, through his great grace, has found a way to love us, and in this case, love the Israelites, love the inhabitants of Jerusalem, in spite of all the crap that they do all the time, generation after generation. I will make mention of Rahab and Babylon to those who know me. Behold, O Philistia, and Tyre with Ethiopian, this one was born there. Talking about God, perhaps? Talking about Jesus? If you make mention of Rahab, the footnote says Egypt. Even though Rahab Jericho. Rahab, yeah, Gentile woman lived in Jericho in the promised land and assisted the Israelites when they were going to invade Jericho. She was a prostitute who took care of a couple of Israelite spies, hid them from the officials in Jericho, the military in Jericho, and assisted in the conquering of Jericho. And because of that, she and her house were spared. Pretty cool. And if I remember correctly, yeah, mentioned in the Gospel of Matthew as one of the ancestors of Jesus, which is interesting that we see her seeing the name mentioned here. The footnote, though, points to Egypt, but she wasn't Egyptian. She was in Jericho. What Babylon, I don't know why that's mentioned. I don't know why Babylon's mentioned there. But we're talking about when we talk about, but if Rahab means Egypt, it also kind of flows with what's else is in there. Egypt, Babylon, Philistia, Tyre, Ethiopia, all places that are some are outright enemies, some are just they're not on great terms, neutral or not great terms, but they're none of them are Israel. None of them have a covenant with God. None of them have any of that. And of Zion it will be said, this one and that one were born in her, and the Most High himself shall establish her. The Lord will record when he registers the peoples. This one was born there. Keeps on talking about the one, right, being from Jerusalem. Jesus, born in Bethlehem, but is in Jerusalem for a great deal of time. Bethlehem distance from Jerusalem. Huh, okay. Okay. It is Jerusalem. There's only 5 miles distance between the two. So, in a sense, Bethlehem is in Jerusalem. 5.5 miles. Interesting here. I really like how there's a good decent mix of mystery to get to the prophecy, but enough there that if you've been reading, you might get there without much in the way of deducing. What a good one. That's a good one. Lucy said that's one of my favorite psalms, and not because it's short. Well, the great thing for us as Gentiles is that it does open up for us. It is a prophecy that said this covenant that's coming, right? This Messiah, this promise, it's not just going to be for ethnic Jews. It's not just going to be for my chosen tribes. He's coming for everybody. Or the elect. The elect won't consist of just Jewish people. And this would be an interesting psalm to talk about whenever I get my dispensationalist buddy out here to talk about. I like short ones because the long ones I start to veg out. Depends on how enticing it is. But it doesn't take this long. It doesn't take a psalm very long to get to say a lot. Jerusalem's beautiful. Maybe it's God's favorite city. And because of that, he's going to send the one he prophesies about to be born there, to set up shop there, and ultimately to die there. And then, because he dies there, to resurrect there. And use it as a beacon, not just to reach Israel, not just to reach the city limits of Jerusalem, not just to reach Israel, not even just to reach the fringes of the Roman Empire at the time, to reach everywhere. To reach everywhere. That's a good one. I think I end everyone going, that's a good one. Oh, I like that one. That one's very good. A prayer for help and despondency. Ooh, interesting. A prayer for help and despondency. This could be a very interesting kind of off the beaten path psalm. A psalm of the sons of Korah to the chief musician set to Mahalath Leannoth, a contemplation of Hemite the Ezrahite. I don't know what any of that means, other than sons of Korah wrote it to a chief musician to sing on at some song about He-Man. O Lord, God of my salvation, I have cried out day and night before you. Let my prayer come before you. Incline your ear to hear my cry. For my soul is full of troubles, and my life draws near to the grave. I am counted with those who go down to the pit. I am like a man who has no strength. Adrift among the dead, like the slain who lie in the grave, whom you remember no more, and who are cut off from your hand. You have laid me in the lowest pit, in darkness, in the depths. Your wrath lies heavy upon me, and you have afflicted me with all your waves. Selah. You have put away my acquaintances far. You have put away my acquaintances far from me. You have made me an abomination to them. I am shut up, and I cannot get out. My eye wastes away because of affliction. Lord, I have called daily upon you. I have stretched out my hands to you. Will you work wonders for the dead? Shall the dead arise and praise you? Selah. Shall your loving kindness be declared in the grave, or your faithfulness in the place of destruction? Shall your wonders be known in the dark, and your righteousness in the land of forgetfulness? But to you I have cried out, O Lord, and in the morning my prayer comes before you. Lord, why do you cast off my soul? Why do you hide your face from me? I have been afflicted and ready to die from my youth. I suffer your terrors. I am distraught. Your fierce wrath has gone over me. Your terrors have cut me off. They came around me all day long like water. They engulfed me altogether. Loved one and friend you have put far from me, and my acquaintances into darkness. This doesn't this isn't a prophetic, or it's mostly not a prophetic psalm. This is a very, in reading this comes across a lot like Job. Very similar. A place that we've been. I've cried out, oh God, I've cried out day and night before you. Let my prayer come before you. Incline your ear to my cry. O God of my salvation. I've been talking to you. I've been sharing this pain for some time, this concern, this burden. My soul is full of troubles, and my life draws near to the grave. I am counted with those who go down to the pit. I am like a man who has no strength, adrift among the dead, like the slain who lie in the grave, whom you remember no more, and who are cut off from your hand. Whew, this sounds like Asaph. this, this doesn't sound like Sons of Korah. What it does sound like is a perfect description of despondency. You're kind of in limbo. You're waiting. You want to make a decision, or you're in a particular spot, and it's a tough spot, or it seems like you're in between a rock and a hard place. So you've cried out to God, and you either haven't gotten a response from Him, or haven't recognized that there's a God has responded to you, and maybe that response doesn't go well, and you find yourself kind of a little resentful there, or a little impatient. It's a good prayer for indecision. It's a good prayer for impatience, or it's an easy one to relate to if you're impatient. I feel like nothing as serious as Job, anywhere near approaching that, but I've felt like at times I have been like, what's going on? I've prayed, I'm waiting for this. I need guidance, but I haven't heard anything from God. And now I'm wondering if he's withholding counsel with me because he's angry with me, or does he think that or does he have faith that I'll do the right thing? And you end up with analysis paralysis. Where's our buddy Paralysis by Analysis? I haven't seen him in the chat in a little while. Um, you start to think that maybe, "Oh, Lord, have you forsaken me?" Which is kind of ridiculous for us to cry out about. And yet we make mistakes. You have laid me in the lowest pit, in darkness in the depths. Your wrath lies heavy upon me, and you have afflicted me with all your waves. Selah. You have put away my acquaintances far from me. You have made me an abomination to them. I am shut up, and I cannot get out. My eyes waste away from affliction. Is this guy blaming God for kind of his circumstances? Yeah, that I do believe the pit means Sheol. Hell. Heck. It's a heckin' bad time. Um, or maybe if you're Catholic, it's probably purgatory, I guess. I don't know. If this guy's blaming God, bold move. Bold strategy, Cotton. It's easy. It's okay to be frustrated. Hand those frustrations to him. But this sounds like he's like, I keep praying, I keep calling out to you, but I still don't hear an answer. Have you been in that situation? Does the answer come in a way that you didn't understand years after the fact? Yeah, to me it has. I remember being keenly, keenly uh, worried about my situation and how I was going to provide for myself or my family. And I just felt like I was getting radio silence from God. And I was like, what do you want me to do? I sounded a lot like this. Lord, I have called daily upon you. I have stretched out my hands to you. Will you work wonders for the dead? Or wait, I already read that. Didn't I? Nope. Lord, I have called daily upon you. I have stretched out my hands to you. Will you work wonders for the dead? Shall the dead arise and praise you? Salah. Shall your loving kindness be declared in the grave, or your faithfulness in the place of destruction? Shall your wonders be known in the dark, and your righteousness in the land of forgetfulness? Little little angsty here, but holding arms out for God, talking about it, still feeling like, God, you're leaving me hanging here. Got my hands out. This is embarrassing. Are you saving all this for when we're dead? Does that even mean anything? We don't know. And if we're dead and you do this, how are we going to share this with anybody? Not really allowed to. But to you I have cried out, O Lord, and in the morning my prayer comes before you. Lord, why do you cast off my soul? Why do you hide your face from me? I have been afflicted and am ready to die from my youth. I suffer your terrors. I am distraught. Your fierce wrath has gone over me. Your terrors have cut me off. They came around me all day long like water. They engulfed me together. Loved one and friend you have put far from me, and my acquaintances in the darkness. I see that isolated, feeling forgotten, feeling ineptitude, inadequacy. I see love and faith and devotion in any way, in spite of that. But still, um, that's wearing on this person in this prayer. At least that's how I'm reading it. I wonder if they tie it in with the next psalm. Let's see. Maybe remembering the covenant with David. What we need to learn, and we don't, and it's always difficult for us, is that God works things in His time. He's not going to speed things up just because you ask. There has to be a good reason behind it. Not to say that you have to have a good reason. God has to have a good reason. That seems to be how he operates. He doesn't seem to be a very random being. He seems very decisive and very contemplative. Things that he does have purpose. There's deliberate behavior behind it and diligence. This might be a good 88 might be a good psalm to go to when you do have these feelings. But not in your time, in God's time. Sometimes looking at somebody and going, well, why doesn't he just put his faith in God? Why doesn't he just do this? Why don't the Israelites just stop breaking all the rules? Jenny, we're getting ready to wrap up anyway. Have a good day. Stop breaking all the rules, Israelites. Can you just stop, like all of them, trying to find new and interesting ways to be obnoxious and tick God off? Yeah. Not in our time. In his time. All right. So we're going to wrap up. As I said, told Jenny, we are wrapping up right now. It's a little bit shorter than normal, but our streams usually run about an hour, a little excess of an hour. Here we're just shy of an hour, about 8 minutes short. But want y'all to keep Porcupine and his family in your prayers. Porcupine's a long time member of this chat. Haven't seen much of him recently. He's probably busy. I think he's been really busy. But I mean, clearly he's been busy. He's got a kid on the way. But prayers for them. Even if everything turns out that baby doesn't have Downs. My baby was perfectly healthy coming out. She beat the crap out of my wife on their way out, though. This is what happened. But you know, Porcupine's a good dude. Pray for him. Keep him in your thoughts. Keep Lucy in your thoughts and prayers as well for diligence, discipline, creativity, the spark of imagination, and the they said the diligence to stick with it. So to Porcupine, Lucy, Jenny, Dad, Steve, Texan Italian, Dresden. I think that's it. I don't think I missed anybody. Thank you guys for being part of the show. Thank you for sharing things that are what on your mind. Thanks for sharing things that you're excited about. I'm glad you guys feel comfortable doing that. Not just with me, but with the chat and kind of with the whole world, because anybody can stumble upon this. But you guys have got real things happening in your life, just like the rest of us. It's good for us to remember that other people are going through life, not just us. So I like that. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Yeah. The chat is wonderful. And I love you guys and gals. I love y'all. Just want y'all to know that. To the folks that are not in the chat, folks who haven't chatted tonight, folks who are listening but can't or won't, I love you too. You guys too. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad that you guys are finding something that you are excited to tune into, or at least consistent in wanting to tune into. It's great. I'd love to see you guys in the chat, but I understand if maybe you just want to listen. If you have nothing you want to add. To everybody catching this on replay, I'm sorry that I missed you. I hope to catch you live sometime. But thank you anyway for watching. Tomorrow, last stream of the week, we're going to continue our path down Psalms. You guys have a good night, and God bless. I clicked the wrong one. That's what I did. So good night, and God bless.